guys, what's up, what's going on? So today we're going to be talking about Catfish, and this is Vonnie and Andrew. Okay, this one was a funny episode for me. It was pretty interesting, but we won't get into all that. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my Catfish reviews that I do, as well as other reviews that I do on here, okay? So it was actually Vonnie's friend that wrote in, because Vonnie's friend felt like he was being scammed and misused and abused and mistreated and all that. So he was like, you know what? I mean, she was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and write into the show. Which is pretty good, you know. That's what any good friend would, well, I don't know if they would write into Catfish, but any good friend would be concerned about a friend, you know, and somebody that they're dating or whatever. I know my friends, I'm very territorial at times, and I could be like one of those, you know. So I could definitely understand where the friend was coming from. Vonnie, he just seems like such a sweet guy from what we saw. And he did, when they spoke to him, he said that Andrew doesn't FaceTime with him. And he wants Andrew to move to Michigan. But mind you, this dude is unemployed. So he's living off unemployment. And he wants Vonnie to leave his job and come live with him in a whole nother state. Like, are you kidding me right now? It just sounded real crazy to me. Like, who does that? Like, what's the plan? You know, for me, I like plans. I like at least to have some kind of roadmap or something. Not just, oh yeah, let's fail together and live on the streets. Nah, we're not doing that. So it was just like a little bit much. So he said that he doesn't really send Vonnie any photos or anything like that, but Vonnie has sent him money. Vonnie sent him $25 at one point. He sent him $35, and he sent him $275 just randomly off being a sugar daddy. I mean, like, what are you doing? That's pretty much what he was doing. He said he did it out the kindness of his heart. But the first two times, it was this guy Andrew had actually like asked him for the money. He said at one time, like when he sent him the $25, he actually sent him $10 back. So it's like, it shows, you know, I don't want you to really be sending me too much money. It's like, you know, you manipulate someone, you gotta play with their heads or whatever. Like, you know, thank you so much. You know what? You don't even need to send me all this. I'm gonna send you a little bit of it back because I can't believe that you did this for me. You know, I feel like it's one of those types of things. So when Vonnie had looked into the Cash App, it actually said that the name was Keon. So that was a little bit weird for him, but he never mentioned it or anything. He just kind of let it rock. You know, like, nah, dude, like, who you sending the money to? You need to at least know that. Like, is this an alias? Is this something he uses on social media? Sometimes people do that, you know? But it was just a little odd. So they actually found the actual guy name, and his name was Larson. So Andrew wasn't really Andrew. Andrew was actually Larson. Well, the photos. So, and Larson was on his little break or whatever, and he spoke to them, and he was like, no, it's not me, and this actually happens to me a lot. He's at 80K, so you know, if you look good, and you at 80K, or, you know, you don't even have to be at that much. Sometimes you could be at 20K. You know, as long as you have a lot of photos that people can take and allow their narrative to work and kind of look like it's really them, especially if you take different angles. You'd be like, oh, I'm headed outside right now. You in a car, you're taking a selfie. You know, it just goes with whatever they're saying. So perfect, you know. I'm telling you, the internet could be good or bad. You could be out here doing crimes and not even know. It is crazy. So now Vonnie, he realizes at that point that, okay, now I got played. Because if the real person is saying that he never had any relations with him, he doesn't know him, and this happens to him a lot, it's kind of like, damn. So it's real. It really happened. So they had another person that they found when they was doing the whole search. So Larson was one. There was another one named Venus. And when they went back to look at Venus' page, somebody was like, oh, don't trust this person. They're a scammer. So, boom, red flag right there. They're like, okay, so now the story's kind of coming together. Maybe Venus has something to do with everything. But Vonnie was still, like, a good person, like still kind of open to being with whoever this person is, because the messages that they shared just felt so genuine and so real. So he was still willing to risk it all to be whoever this person was, even though this person clearly was a liar. So they finally called Andrew. They spoke to him on the phone. Well, the Andrew. And Andrew ends up hanging up after Neve introduces himself and says who he was, and he was from Catfish and all that. Boom, red flag right there. They try to call him back, no answer. So obviously they're going to have Vonnie reach out to him, and luckily enough, he did right back. So now they finally get Andre on the Zoom call. Come to find out, Andre is like I said, a completely different person named Keandre. Okay? So now it makes sense why the thing said Keon, because it's short for Keandre. Just didn't want to put the whole name. Because he's like, okay, I'm scamming people. I don't want to put the whole name. So yes, he actually is a scammer. And he admitted that he's a scammer. I'm like, aren't there crimes against scamming people? Like, isn't that like a real, like, crime? Isn't that like illegal? Or is it like not illegal if you admit it on a show, a national show on TV, and say that you've done it to hundreds of people? Like, he legit said that he's done this to hundreds of people, because it was like, how many people have you spoken to? He said he has the Andrew page, and he also has the Andrew page, and he also has the Venus page. And he said that he's spoken to hundreds of people, and almost all of the people give him money. So imagine how much money he has. And like, he literally said he was doing this for about 1.5 years, and this is the way that he got through the whole pandemic, because he ain't have a pot to piss in, so he had to do what he had to do, and that's just pretty much it. And I'm like, what? Like, imagine all the people that might have been watching that page, this episode, and they're like, yo, I was on that Venus page. Like, they probably tight right now. Like, they should I wouldn't even be mad. Damn, there's a thunderstorm. I wouldn't even be mad if they go after him, because at this point, he actually showed no remorse for his actions, and that was the worst part of it. So yeah, I was just like, yo, this is crazy. So he does live in Michigan. He's 26, and his job is a full-time scammer. It's pretty much what he said. Yeah. And they was like, so when people want to talk to Venus, what do you do? And he was like, I just be like this. Like, he dead switched up his voice. Vonnie was like, I can't. This is too much. But through it all, Vonnie still seemed like he was maybe okay with still pursuing something. But the fact of the matter, Vonnie's like, because he even said, like, I started out to scam you, but I actually started catching feelings for you. So Vonnie seemed like he was, like, open to it, but he's like, but what about the scamming? Like, you can't be doing all that. He's like, well, I do what I do, and this is what I do, so let me do what I do. Like, what? Like, he pretty much is like, you're just going to have to sit to the side. If I get caught up, then that's on me, you know? But I don't want you involved. Because Vonnie's like, yo, what you thought we was going to do right off in the sunset, being scammers together? He's like, that's not me. He's like, no, I didn't think that. But, you know, he felt like everything was going to work itself out. And after you pretty much say that you're... Because once you scamming people, that means you're a liar. You could be a thief. You could be so many things. Like, you can't even trust somebody like that. And time again, he was just like, well, I had to do something to eat. Dude, you couldn't find no other way. Like, you're literally hurting people, and you might be taking their last dime because they care about you so much that they're trying to help you out. Like, at the end of the day, it's just, it goes so much further than that. I mean, I've been not like that. I never try to be nobody's sugar daddy or nothing like, well, sugar daddy, sugar mama or nothing like that. But I have gotten scammed in different situations. You know, luckily now you could just call your bank up like, yo, but if it's through Cash App, you know, all these flower susus and all this was going around during the pandemic too. So, you know, that was another big thing. But yeah, it's real crazy, yo. Then he's like, I got one more thing to tell you. he says that he had a girlfriend, and so the girl is 7 months pregnant, and he said he's trying to get full custody of the child once the child is born, which, I don't know, it sounds crazy because you literally just admitted to being guilty of scamming people on TV. And Vonnie's like, so how you gonna do that if you in jail? And he's just like, at the end of the day, I'm 20, you know, whatever he said. And he's like, I don't need to be, this is too much. You know, I think that right there was like, nah, I ain't even trying to be nobody's other dad or, you know, whatever. Like, I ain't trying to be in that position at this point right now in life. So, Vonnie definitely dodged a bullet with that one, I do feel. And it seems like I feel like Kamie and Neve, they was trying to like really pull teeth because they was both all like, what they were saying. I felt like they was trying to make him feel bad because they were saying things like, well, how do you feel now knowing that somebody like Vonnie, you know, got taken through all this? And they was like, if you're not going to stop now. And I mean, he did eventually, after they had to kind of, I feel like they kind of put the words in his mouth. He's like, yeah, I apologize to you, Vonnie, you know, and he said that he's going to send him his money back. But he, throughout the whole thing, even to the very end, he's pretty much was like, you know, this is just me. I do what I do, and this is what I do, so, you know. So I just felt like there was no real accountability throughout the whole thing, even when they were trying to force him into it. And they did say that later on, you know how they do the where are they now, you know, type of thing. They did say that what's his name, that Vonnie now has somebody in his life that he actually met in the real world. And they said that with Keandre, that he claims now that he's changed his life after doing the show. And he's reevaluated all the things that he was doing. I don't know. People gonna catch him outside. How about that? They gonna be like, wait, hold on. You from that Venus site? That was you. I know your face from Catfish. You know, you better watch out. You never know how close some of these people are. But yeah, that was a pretty interesting episode. He was looking like a supervillain in my eyes. Like, he was just like, I do what I do. I'm like, dang, bro, like, really? That's how you feel? But I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.